Every heart walks between two voices. One whispers for self, craving, fearing, clinging, and the other calls for truth, calm, pure, and free. In every moment, we choose our master. The path of self leads to noise. The path of truth leads to peace. This is the timeless battle between ego and the eternal. Let's uncover the power of choosing truth. Hey, warriors of the soul. Jesus said, "No one can serve two masters. You cannot serve God and wealth." Will you chase selfish desires or embrace truth? Let go of self, find peace, and unlock the light within. Join us on this sacred journey. Now, on the battlefield of the human soul, two forces are always fighting for control, for the leadership and power over the heart. The force of self, also called the ruler of this world, and the force of truth, also called God. The force of self is that rebellious one whose tools are passion, pride, greed, vanity, stubbornness, tools of darkness. The force of truth is that gentle and humble one whose tools are kindness, patience, purity, sacrifice, humility, love, tools of light. In every soul, this battle is fought, and just as a soldier cannot fight for two opposing sides at once, so every heart is loyal either to self or to truth. There is no middle ground. There is self, and there is truth. Where self is, truth is not. Where truth is, self is not. So said Buddha, the teacher of truth, and Jesus, the revealed Christ, declared, "No one can serve two masters, for either they will hate one and love the other, or they will hold to one and reject the other. You cannot serve God and wealth." Truth is so simple, so clear, and uncompromising that it allows no confusion, no turning aside, no exceptions. Self is clever, twisted, and driven by sneaky desires, allowing endless twists and excuses, and those who follow self mistakenly believe they can chase every worldly desire and still hold truth. But those who love truth honor it with the sacrifice of self and constantly guard themselves against worldliness and selfishness. Do you seek to know and live truth? Then you must be ready to sacrifice, to give up everything, for truth in all its beauty can only be seen and known when every trace of self has vanished. The eternal Christ said that anyone who wants to follow him must deny themselves daily. Are you willing to let go of yourself, to abandon your desires, your biases, your opinions? If so, you may step onto the narrow path of truth and find a peace that the world cannot touch. The complete rejection, the total removal of self, is the perfect state of truth, and all religions and philosophies are simply tools to reach this ultimate goal. Self is the rejection of truth. Truth is the rejection of self. As you let self fade, you will be reborn in truth. As you cling to self, truth will stay hidden from you. While you hold on to self, your path will be full of obstacles, and repeated pains, sorrows, and disappointments will be your share. There are no obstacles in truth, and when you come to truth, you will be freed from all sorrow and disappointment. Truth itself is not hidden or dark. It is always clear and perfectly open. But the blind and wayward self cannot see it. The light of day is only hidden to the blind, and the light of truth is only hidden to those blinded by self. Truth is the one reality in the universe, the inner harmony, the perfect justice, the eternal love. Nothing can be added to it, nor taken away. It does not depend on any person, but all people depend on it. You cannot see the beauty of truth while looking through the eyes of self. If you are vain, you will taint everything with your own vanity. If driven by desire, your heart and mind will be clouded with the haze of passion, making everything seem distorted. If proud and opinionated, you will see nothing in the universe except the importance of your own opinions. There is one quality that clearly sets the person of truth apart from the person of self, and that is humility. To be free not only from vanity, stubbornness, and pride, but to see your own opinions as having no value. This is true humility. Someone lost in self sees their own opinions as truth and the opinions of others as wrong. But the humble lover of truth, who has learned to separate opinion from truth, looks at all people with kindness, does not defend their opinions against others, but gives up those opinions to love more, to show the spirit of truth, for truth in its nature is beyond words and can only be lived. The one who has the most kindness has the most truth. People argue fiercely, foolishly thinking they are defending truth, when really they are only defending their own small interests and temporary opinions. The follower of self fights against others. The follower of truth fights against themselves. Truth, being unchanging and eternal, does not need your opinion or mine. We can enter it or stay outside, but our defense and our attacks are unnecessary, and they only harm ourselves. People trapped by self, passionate, proud, and judgmental, believe their specific beliefs or religion to be the truth and all other beliefs to be wrong. They spread their beliefs with intense passion. There is only one religion, the religion of truth. There is only one error, the error of self. Truth is not a formal belief. It is a selfless, holy, and aspiring heart, and the one who has truth is at peace with all and cherishes all with thoughts of love. You can easily know if you are a child of truth or a follower of self if you quietly examine your mind, heart, and actions. Do you hold thoughts of suspicion, hostility, envy, desire, pride, or do you strongly fight against these? If the former, you are bound to self, no matter what religion you claim. If the latter, you are a seeker of truth, even if you follow no religion outwardly. Are you passionate, stubborn, always seeking your own goals, self-indulgent, and self-centered? Or are you gentle, calm, selfless, free from every form of self-indulgence, and always ready to give up your own? If the former, self is your master. If the latter, truth is your goal. Do you chase wealth? Do you fight with passion for your group? Do you crave power and leadership? Are you drawn to showiness and self-praise? Or have you let go of the love of wealth? Have you given up all conflict? Are you content to take the lowest place, to be unnoticed? And have you stopped talking about yourself and feeling proud of yourself? If the former, even if you think you worship God, the master of your heart is self. If the latter, even if you don't speak of worship, you are living with the highest. The signs of a truth lover are clear. Hear the holy Krishna declare them in Sir Edwin Arnold's beautiful translation of the Bhagavad Gita. Fearlessness, a focused heart, the will always to seek wisdom, an open hand and controlled desires, devotion, love of quiet study, humility, honesty, care not to harm any living thing, truthfulness, slow to anger, a mind that easily lets go of what others value, and balance and kindness that sees no one's faults, and gentleness toward all who suffer, a content heart, untouched by desires, a calm, humble, and dignified manner, blended with noble strength, with patience, courage, and purity, a forgiving spirit, never valuing itself too highly. Such are the signs, O Indian prince, of one whose feet are set on the beautiful path that leads to heavenly birth. When people, lost in the winding paths of error and self, have forgotten the heavenly birth, the state of holiness and truth, they create artificial standards to judge one another and make acceptance of their own beliefs the test of truth. And so people are divided, one against another, and there is endless conflict and struggle and unending sorrow and suffering. Reader, do you seek to live the birth into truth? There is only one way. Let self die. All those desires, appetites, opinions, limited ideas, and biases to which you have so tightly held, let them fall away. Let them no longer keep you in chains, and truth will be yours. Stop seeing your own religion as better than all others, and strive humbly to learn the great lesson of kindness. No longer hold to the idea, so full of conflict and sorrow, that the Savior you worship is the only Savior, and that the Savior your neighbor worships with equal sincerity and passion is false, but seek diligently the path of holiness, and then you will see that every holy person is a savior of humanity. The giving up of self is not just letting go of outward things. It is letting go of the inner wrong, the inner mistake. Not by giving up fancy clothes, not by abandoning wealth, not by avoiding certain foods, not by speaking smooth words, not by merely doing these things is truth found, but by giving up the spirit of vanity, by letting go of the desire for wealth, by avoiding the craving for self-indulgence, by giving up all hatred, conflict, judgment, and selfishness, and becoming gentle and pure at heart. By doing these things is truth found. To do the outward things and not the inner ones is hypocrisy and pretense, whereas the inner includes the outer. You may abandon the outer world and hide in a cave or deep in a forest, but you will carry all your selfishness with you. And unless you let go of that, great will be your misery and deep your confusion. You may stay right where you are, doing all your duties, and still let go of the world, the inner enemy. To be in the world and yet not of it is the highest perfection, the most blessed peace, the greatest victory. The letting go of self is the way of truth. Therefore, enter the path. There is no grief like hate, no pain like passion, no deceit like sense. Enter the path. Far has he gone, whose foot treads down one fond offense. As you overcome self, you will begin to see things as they truly are. Someone controlled by any passion, bias, like, or dislike, shapes everything to fit that bias and sees only their own illusions. Someone completely free from all passion, bias, preference, and partiality sees themselves as they are, sees others as they are, sees all things in their true proportions and right connections. Having nothing to attack, nothing to defend, nothing to hide, and no interest to protect, they are at peace. They have found the deep simplicity of truth, for this unbiased, calm, blessed state of mind and heart is the state of truth. They who reach it live with the angels and rest at the feet of the highest. Knowing the great law, knowing the source of sorrow, knowing the secret of suffering, knowing the way of freedom and truth, how can such a one engage in conflict or judgment? For though they know that the blind, self-seeking world, surrounded by the clouds of its own illusions and wrapped in the darkness of error and self, cannot see the steady light of truth and is completely unable to grasp the deep simplicity of the heart that has died or is dying to self. Yet they also know that when the suffering ages have piled up mountains of sorrow, the crushed and burdened soul of the world will turn to its final refuge, And when the ages are complete, every lost soul will return to the embrace of truth. And so they live, in goodwill toward all, and look at all, with the tender compassion a father gives to his wayward children. People cannot understand truth because they cling to self, because they believe in and love self, because they see self as the only reality, whereas it is the one illusion. When you stop believing in and loving self, you will leave it behind and turn to truth and find the eternal reality. When people are caught up in the pleasures of luxury, enjoyment, and vanity, the thirst for life grows and deepens within them, and they fool themselves with dreams of worldly immortality. But when they face the results of their own actions, and pain and sorrow follow, then, crushed and humbled, letting go of self and all its pleasures, they come, with aching hearts, to the one true immortality, the immortality that destroys all illusions, the spiritual immortality in truth. People move from wrong to good, from self to truth, through the dark gate of sorrow, for sorrow and self are inseparable. Only in the peace and joy of truth is all sorrow overcome. If you feel disappointment because your cherished plans have failed, or because someone has not met your expectations, it is because you are holding on to self. If you feel regret for your actions, it is because you gave in to self. If you are overwhelmed with frustration and regret because of someone's attitude toward you, it is because you have been cherishing self. If you are hurt because of what has been done to you or said about you, it is because you are walking the painful path of self. All suffering comes from self. All suffering ends in truth. When you have entered and lived truth, you will no longer feel disappointment, regret, or sorrow, and pain will vanish from you. Self is the only prison that can ever bind the soul. Truth is the only angel that can open the gates. And when it comes to call you, arise and follow quickly. Its way may lead through darkness, but it ends in light at last. The world's pain is of its own making. Sorrow purifies and deepens the soul, and the depth of sorrow is the doorway to truth. Have you suffered much? Have you felt deep sorrow? Have you thought seriously about the meaning of life? If so, you are ready to fight against self and to become a follower of truth. Those who think only with their minds and do not see the need to let go of self create endless theories about the universe and call them truth. But you should follow that clear path of action, which is living rightly, and you will find the truth that has no place in theories and never changes. Nurture your heart. Feed it constantly with selfless love and deep compassion, and strive to keep out all thoughts and feelings that do not align with love. Return good for evil, love for hatred, kindness for mistreatment, and stay silent when attacked. So you will transform all your selfish desires into the pure gold of love, and self will vanish in truth. So you will live blamelessly among people, joined with the gentle yoke of humility, and clothed in the sacred garment of kindness.